each one of us has a unique voice that the world needs to hear. And if you don't sing your song, then the world never gets it.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good afternoon, Dr. Robyn Odegaard. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful afternoon?
I am doing really well. It's actually nice and sunny here today, which is a wonderful thing.
That's wonderful. Where is here right now for you?
I'm in the United States, just outside of Philadelphia.
All right. And which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history?
I am a psychologist with continuing education in nutrition and a former competitive volleyball player. And all of those skills have come together for me to be the co-founder of the Whole Food Muscle Club and write the book How to Feed a Human to help people bridge the gap between what they want to do, which is eat healthier and be healthier, and how to actually do that. And I'm really fortunate that you want to have a conversation about that today.
Yeah, definitely. So tell me, where did you learn the skill of being able to help others through whole food muscles from?
So the part of being a volleyball player, I think I have to blame on my parents for the athletic ability, and then my coaches for kind of nurturing that. So that comes from there. And being a psychologist, everyone was always asking me for advice. So when I went to college at 32, it was just kind of natural to go into psychology. But the nutrition part was because when I turned 40, I felt like my body started to betray me. And I was like, wait, I'm not in shape anymore. And even though I work out and I'm gaining weight. So I started personally going into nutrition to figure out what was happening because my doctor said to me, oh, you're over 40. You're just going to have to get used to being overweight. Everyone gains weight when they get older. And I was not willing to accept that. And so I started studying nutrition myself. And then people started asking me, wait, it's working for you. What are you doing?
How did you come up with the name Whole Food Muscle?
So a lot of what we do is helping people eat more real food, more whole foods. And my husband, Russ, is a former bodybuilder and trainer on the Mr. Olympia tour. And so we also help people work out and get into their fitness. So obviously gain their muscles. And it just kind of, we were talking about it one day and he was talking about fitness. And I said, well, what about muscle? And it just came to be whole food muscle.
That's amazing. Now, where can people go to connect to find out more about this?
So they can just Google Whole Food Muscle and it'll come up, or they can go to our website, which is rnrjourney.com. So Robyn is an R and Russ is an R, and so an N in the middle to connect them, the letter N. So rnrjourney.com.
Well, do tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Oh, the thing I do most consistently is learn. I love to learn about everything, whether it's nutrition or how people think, or in my spare time, I like to learn about astrophysics. So learning and then taking what I learn and then helping other people by teaching it. I absolutely love doing that.
How does that make you feel like looking back from now to then? It seems as though you've done a ton as well as a TED Talk and help others with TED Talks as well. So you've definitely been learning and helping others. How does it make you feel looking back?
You know, I have to tell you, Angel, it makes me so proud of myself. And part of that, and I know people are going to be like, well, that's not very cool. But when I was growing up, I was definitely told that I was average and that if I managed to achieve anything, it was because someone else didn't try. So for me to actually achieve things and be able to say, I work this out and I help other people do it just makes me so proud of myself.
That's wonderful. That is amazing. So just to someone out there, someone who may be feeling that way as well, that they are average when they're not, suggest to them why they should do what you've done.
You know, I'm a firm believer that each one of us has an individual voice, a unique voice that the world needs to hear. And if you don't sing your song, then the world never gets it. And that's part of why I'm so passionate about helping people with their health, because if you're not healthy, you aren't available to sing your song for the world, and the world loses that opportunity. So I would definitely encourage everyone to find their unique voice and share it with the world. That's why we're here.
Come on, amazing audience. It's time to sing your song. Again, Dr. Robyn Odegaard. Let's switch gears for a moment now. Let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Dr. Robyn, what's your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest memory is riding my bicycle with the training wheels on it on the sidewalk next to my parents' house.
How old do you think you were?
I couldn't have been more than 4 because we moved from that house before I was 4 years old.
Why do you think this memory is so clear?
I think it's because it was kind of the first time I had done something on my own. Because, I was the oldest child. And so my parents were very like worried about me. And I got to like ride away. And emotions really imprint memories. And I think I just felt really brave and impressed with myself.
How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
That's an interesting question. I feel like that same idea of being brave and being willing to take those risks, because when you're 3 or however old I was and you're on your bicycle with training wheels, that's risky. And now I still am willing to take those risks and try new things, even when I don't really know what I'm doing.
That's wonderful. Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind with that memory?
I would love for you to do that.
Ooh, I love the way that understanding the value of the training wheels, you've now become the training wheels for others to be able to go out on that sidewalk by themselves with the confidence that they're being supported.
I like that interpretation. That is wise.
You are wise. I'm glad that you are doing what you're doing, this in spite of what your experience has been.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
This is actually a funny answer. The 1812 Overture.
Which is amazing. Like, how is it possible that you were listening to that?
So when growing up, we didn't have a TV in our house. I grew up in a very rural area, and I grew up on a small farm. So we didn't have a TV. And so I didn't get to choose what music we listened to. And my father was a music teacher. He has a master's degree in music, and he was a music teacher. And so the music in the house was the classical music that he listened to. And the 1812 Overture is basically the rock and roll of the classical world. And so that became my favorite song.
Yes, that is absolutely amazing. Your parents definitely impacted your life, didn't they?
Well, yeah, I mean, how can they not? From the time you're born until you move out, your parents are the people who get to kind of imprint what happens in your life.
Well, my friend, we have now arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there is a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
All right, I'm ready. I'll put my seatbelt on.
Dr. Robyn, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Absolutely anyone who wants to know what I know, I am happy to share it with them.
Are you married?
I am my amazing husband, Russ, and partner in business.
R&R.
Yep.
Do you have children?
I don't. I'm the oldest of 8 children, so I feel like I raised my children before I was grown, and so I never had any of my own.
Oh, the pain. Do you believe in God?
That answer would be a much deeper question than we can have in 12 minutes.
All right. What about TV? Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
I am not a TV person, I think, because I grew up without one.
How about 3 hours a week?
No, I mean, the TV's on because my husband does watch sports, but I don't really pay that much attention to it. I'm usually listening to a book on tape or taking an online class or something.
What about screen time? Yeah. Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
I would say during the week, it's probably 8 or a little more. On weekends, I would say substantially less.
And do you have an inner circle of friends?
I do.
Dr. Robyn, this has been such a great pleasure. Tell me, before we leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Oh, I would love to offer them a challenge that we give our Whole Food Muscle Club members. Can I do that?
Sure, go for it.
All right. Look at where your health is and where you want it to be, and do one thing today that'll bridge the gap between those two things.
Dr. Robyn, this was such a great pleasure. A pleasure I treasure. Thank you, my friend, for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.